Question says, were there any monetary units used in the time of the Prophet ﷺ? Are there any narrations that state that? First and foremost is the hadith regarding Zakat Al-Fitr, according to my limited knowledge, are relatively limited. They're relatively what? Limited. And obviously the main hadith is the hadith of Abdullah bin Umar. There aren't but so many hadiths regarding the amount and what and not to give for what? Zakat al-Fitr. So if that's the case, and if the hadith are relatively what? Mahsura, then the understanding of those hadith, the implementation of those hadith is also going to be what? It's going to be limited from the beginning. And the next step is going to be what, Abu Bakr? It started off as a limited concept. It's going to end up as a what? It's going to become expanded. Because it's only a little bit of what? Information. So a lot of qiyas, usul, qawaid, urf, custom, these things are going to have to be what? Used because the information is so limited. Let's make an example of this. Salah. How much of one's custom or of qiyas and this principle and this is safer is used for regards to the salah? Not much. Why not, Salih? Because it's what? Kathir, jiddan. There's so much text on the what? On the salah. Zakat al-Fitr, that's not the what? That's not the, it's a very important principle here. It's a very important what? Very important principle. Everybody understand this? So with that being said, I don't know of any narrations in which the Messenger of Allah ﷺ and the companions took money, quote unquote, monetary units and used it as Zakat al-Fitr. And this is one of the proofs of those ulama who say that it is unlawful and that it is invalid to give money for Zakat al-Fitr. Now the other ulama, they say, first and foremost, when the Messenger of Allah ﷺ told them to give food stuff, it does not mean that it was restricted to foodstuffs. And those ulama who say that you can't give money, they themselves are the same people who say that you can make more than 12 rak'at at night. Even though the Messenger of Allah ﷺ never what? Never did it. What's the proof that you can make 20 or 40 or 30 or 60? They say what? That it's not what? It's not restricted. Everybody understand this? They say that's what the Prophet ﷺ did. And there's no hadith in which he says, don't do what? Don't do more than this. Whether you agree with that or not. Now, the same rule applies to the Zakat al-Fitr, to those other ulama. Just because Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu said that we were commanded to give the Zakat al-Fitr, a saw like this, a saw like that, it does not necessitate that it's what? Aywa. Everybody clear on this? So that's obviously going to be a tug of war with regards to the usul. Everybody clear on this or not? Everybody understand this or not? Secondly is, some of them they say that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, if he commanded for raisins, for dates, for dried yogurt, barley, these things to be given, he never allowed rice to be given, or oatmeal to be given, or other grains, and some of those grains were existing in the time of what? Prophet ﷺ. So how can you give something that the Prophet ﷺ never said what? Give. Everybody understand this? Last but not least, some of those ulama, they say that perhaps the wealth could be more beneficial for the poor person on the day than actual what? Food. And what is the wisdom, the hikmah of the zakat is what? Not the need, deeper than that. The well-being of the beneficiary. The well-being of the what? Beneficiary, the one who's getting the money, the one who's getting the food. In other words, they say whatever is most beneficial for the poor person. So this is some of the proofs and evidences that are mentioned by those ulama with regards to giving money or not giving money. Wallahu alam, that's in brief.